St. Lucians, this is Openmike, and we're now on the fourth and final segment of our program, and we have a couple of important issues before wrapping up. Mr. Ambassador, there has been some discussion in the past that there's a language barrier between the two countries, and that is that people coming here to St. Lucia, our St. Lucian folk are not able to speak enough French to carry on that conversation with our people. But by the same token, we have the patois, which they always use in between, but it's really not the best, but it's still a bit of a help. Do you feel that that is a bit of a problem here in actually increasing the French tourism to our island?
Well, I don't think it's a big problem because, as you say, you have the patois. But I think in the modern times now, you know, when you travel, you want to increase the French language speaking, not only the French people, but also from Canada, from Switzerland, Belgium, and so on. If you want them to come here, it's better
to be able to communicate.
And I think we have many programs, you know, that, and especially with Alliance Française, we can help people to learn French. So you were 7 times French, 7 times English. So why not a little bit more French?
You know something I've noticed, Mr. Ambassador? Despite our proximity to Martinique, I mean, we have been fairly close to Cuba for a number of reasons. Far more St. Lucians speak Spanish today than French. I can't understand why. But I also want to pose a question to you. When my daughter did her master's degree in the tourism marketing, and she wrote a thesis, I was shocked to read, and I'm talking 18 years ago, that only 3% of the French population went to areas other than French territory. I mean, you have the south of France, which is absolutely beautiful. That's like the Miami of the world, even better to a certain extent. You have Martinique, you have Guadeloupe, you have Saint Martin, which is wonderful, you know. And I mean, what is the population of France? How many millions? 70?
About 70,
68,
70.
Yeah. So I suppose, I mean, but vis-a-vis, say, the United Kingdom, which is about 65 million, but the British are known to travel everywhere there. They are hawkish when it comes to traveling. It's unbelievable. But I suppose every country has its drawbacks and its cultures and whatever their reasons are. But you are so right in the sense that I find that, you know, for instance, France, Italy, Germany, we don't get that many people. We get some, you know, Canada, we're building up now. Of course, you have the French Canadians too. You have the British side of Canada. But you raised a very important point, and you could very well be right, that maybe we should, in fact, educate ourselves a bit more language-wise. From the Martinique side, is there any suggestions you can? I know you have the Alliance Française here.
No, but I think we are not in competition with Spanish, because I think our friend from South America, it's very good when people speak Spanish.
It just dawned on me. Why is it that?
I just say that we can help, you know, on the hospitality school. You know,
you know what? Maybe a good. Children learn languages at a very young age. It may be good for both governments to get together, like in the school holidays, where you have maybe 200-300 children could go to Martinique, could take to a camp, say for 2 weeks, because what they can learn at a young age is much faster. I remember many years ago when I migrated to Puerto Rico, for instance. My children were like 6 or 7 years of age, and in a matter of a year, both of them were fluent in Spanish. You know, so whereas it took me a lot longer to attune myself to the language. So it may be something for those people who are listening today, that to have those programs where some 200-300 children could come here, not for long, for 2 weeks. We could arrange up situations like that, and vice versa. Do you think that's a good idea?
Yeah, that's a good idea, and I want to say that we progress also on this field, because we the rectrice of Martinique, the Academy of Martinique, the most the leader of the head of education, in Martinique, came here and to sign with your Minister of Education an agreement on the subject of the cooperation, educative cooperation, and of course including the training of French, and exchange of children, exchange of teachers, and I think we progress in this field, but we have many work to do again, and because many people speak things that everybody speaks English, but and what you say about the French people don't traveling I think it changes a little bit.
Okay.
It changes a little bit, and I see a few people coming, and I think I don't think that the language is a big problem, because the islands are so beautiful, that they're happy to travel
but
and manage.
When you look at Martinique, for instance, you have like 4 or 5 jets a day coming down.
Yes.
It's true a lot of them are Martinicans going back and forth, but that would be wonderful to have a sort. I know the tourist board has tried on a couple of occasions, like when you leave Paris, to come down and have a through ticket coming in,
That's something, that's a subject very important, because we want to organize, as we said, tourism multi-destination tourism, because the problem of this Caribbean is the season.
Yes.
You have a season too short. So to have a bigger season, it would be interesting to have tourists going in many islands to visit the islands, not only to go to the beach. Because I think you have treasures here. Not only the beach.
Yeah,
you have Saint Lucia, you have Martinique, you have Dominica, you have and so on, Saint Vincent and Saint Kitts and so on, and Antigua. And if you organize from France, from Europe, or from the States, travel upon different islands, I think it's a new project, which is very important, and we work about that. I think the discussions between Martinique and Saint Lucia now, and different field, they speak about the tourist multi-destination, which is something new that could provide more money and more income to the countries.
Yeah. Well,
and of course, the language is something important also. If we can ameliorate the performance of the young people in Saint Lucia that are going in the hospitality school, if they can come back with speaking better French than now and better Spanish also, of course.
That would definitely help the situation, Yeah. Now, just to touch on a little bit of commercial assistance, listening to the news a couple of weeks ago, I noticed where the French government provided something like 100,000 euros to help us with our harbour. That's wonderful. And can you highlight a little bit on that? What you're all going to do?
Well, it's something that asks the government about the tourism, because the purpose is to ameliorate the frequentation, to increase the frequentation of the cruise boat coming to the harbor of Castries. Today they are not so much, and it would be much better if the company of cruise boat could arrive in a harbor more organized, all the boutiques around, we asked the French Agency of Development, which is our bank of development, we can say, to come here to discuss with the government, with the SLASPA, with the WASCO, what can be done to make cleaner the harbor of Castries, to completely organize that. So the 100,000 euros is for the study of that and to settle the contract, prepare with the SLASPA for providing, a new organization of the harbor, cleaning the harbor, and so on. And there will be a very, very important loan, but now nothing is really beginning, But I think there will be a loan from the Agency of Development, Financial Agency of Development, to help the SLASPA to make all the works about that, because we speak about that for long.
Yeah.
We speak about that for a long. We are speaking about that for a long time, but now I think it's a big project for the economy of the country. It would be interesting.
I'm so pleased to see that, because some year ago I actually took a boat and I filmed the whole Castries harbour with great concern of what I saw. The old boats on one side and so forth, because I have
and the fire station. And so we are that's involved in this project. We are going to take it out.
I mean, this thing has been sitting there for 6 or 7 years. I mean, even temporarily, if this is taken out, it could be used for other things in the meantime. And also, what worried me tremendously as we're talking about that, I actually took some pictures last week. I went at the back of the market and I was horrified to see 70 to 150 people with trays, old broken down trays in the hot sun, vending. And to me, a simple thing like that, you have about 20, 30 columns, a roof, pressure wash the place, clean it, build maybe about 100 or 250 trays so that people can sell their goods. Because, we're talking of standards and we're trying to raise the standard. And, I just, for instance, was reading today on the Mirror newspaper where there have been big problems in the Viewfort, which is the constituency of the Prime Minister, where they have a crane for discharging the cargo. And if my memory serves me right, I was in the port. It's an Italian crane, but because of the strong amount of salt air in the area, it is rusting up the parts and it has been broken down, and the people in the south are complaining bitterly because the industries will fail as a result of that, And, really and truly, what it really wants, from my experience having been there, is discipline of maintenance. You have to maintain those things because one thing leads to another. A crane breaking down, for instance, Kajima, which is a French organization, they, according to the papers today, have cut down their trips to St. Lucia because the boats are wasting their time. I wonder if there's any opportunity. Again, I don't want to tax you with you can only do so much. I mean, you're doing a lot already anyway. So if we could try to help them here with the technical ability to sort of maintain those things or to advise them, give them a maintenance program, because we hate going and having to beg people all the time. We need to help ourselves in life, and that's what I'm asking. Yeah.
But I don't think I can. I don't know this subject about Vieux-Fort, but I think we can discuss about that. Of course.
I think when you're putting your programs together, it is something maybe we need to sort of just suggest that in your travels or whatever it is, your connections, and sure you're a man with a lot of a wide range of possibilities to help us. I mean, I know there are other islands we can go to, because we have the Taiwan embassy here. We can always go to them. We have the British people here we can go to. But the more people that get involved to help us, so we can stand on our own without having this begging and begging and begging. Because, we don't want to be a nation of beggars. We want to be some people who have a certain amount of pride, who can take our country to another level, Well, Mr. Ambassador, I think we've exhausted most of the questions. I want to thank you greatly for being here today.
Thank you to invite me.
It has been very, I would say, important for you to be here, and I'm sure many St. Lucians probably have enjoyed what they have heard. It gives them some confidence that the country will be going forward, and maybe we'll have the pleasure of having you again on our show. But the normal thing for our show is that before we leave, to ask you for some last words for being here. What is it you have been able to achieve, and what you would like to see just before we close our program?
Well, I didn't prepare anything, but just to answer what you said 2 minutes ago about assistance, I prefer to say that what I like in this country is the cooperation. It's the cooperation, yes, because I speak about cooperation win-win. I think it's very important to my eyes, because I used to work for the cooperation when this country belonged to the cooperation, old times, about 10, 50, 20 years ago about. And I think that's the way we work is we are two and we are partners, and we don't want to assist you. We want to cooperate. We want to have a partnership with you. And we think that the progress is if you are implicated in your development.
Correct.
Exactly what we speak about the training, about the education, about the field, about the health, and so on, and what you speak about the environment of the harbor and economy. We can support many things in this country with your government, but we want
to work together,
to make sure that we work together with France and St. Lucia.
That makes a lot. Well, Mr. Ambassador,
and thank you very much to invite me.
Well, first of all, I want to also say it was a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation, and I look forward to meeting you, if not on this show, at other places where we can probably further. I want to thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.